I'm going to be continuing the Tower of Deception series here, and we're still running most of the same team. Now, there is one difference compared to yesterday when I did this, is that I did this on the alt first, and I'm glad I did, because some stages were a bit more messy than I initially expected. So, I'm going to be going into this with more clearly defined strats. And let's get right into it. And, I mean, most of this is really just, slap a fighter down, slap a tank in front of the fighter, and slap a healer to heal them, and that's basically most of the fight. It can be covered with just that. At this point, Estrid just shreds everything. And if we felt like it, toss in a greed. Shreds everything even more. And then toss in a Maul. And then we have more than enough damage to annihilate everything that comes our way. And, any of these units are not important. What is important is what they do. So it's ranged AoE, melee AoE, another ranged AoE, but magic damage this time. And really that's the only base concepts that are relevant for all of this. So here it could be, say, Immerit, Ardea, Arrogance probably even would work. Wukong, that doesn't really matter. Any fighter with 2 tiles, besides Absent because he's trash, should be able to cover this more than easily. Come on, come here. There we go. And that's stage 6. Stage 7 is slightly more messy. Wait, actually, sorry, hold on. Do it this way.
Apocalypse comes. I like kiss my axe. Torment awaits.
And it's a bit sketchy done like that, but the alternative is placing a tank right here behind Estrid. And then that makes sure that it's stopped there, then Estrid can finish him off with the ultimate. I just did it that way because this goes slightly quicker, because we clear stuff out faster. I don't necessarily recommend placing the greed first. The better option is just dropping this Baron back there and calling it a day. We're going to do that just in case, even if it's not necessary at this point. And we'll toss in one healer for the sake of it. But greed will just destroy most things, and if we felt like it and we tossed in a Maul, it would be even worse.
Kiss my axe. Torment awaits.
Estrid is such a ridiculously monstrous epic.
Torment awaits.
It's kind of crazy.
Torment.
And that's 7. I am truly genuinely happy that we get so many hammers and refines out of this. Well, so many might be an overstatement, but... Alright. Once more, Estrid is carrying us to victory. Toss in a hollow to make sure that Estrid does not die. Here we'll toss in our greed.
Apocalypse comes.
Greed being the other monster for this kind of situation, really.
Make it my
He absolutely nukes. Magic damage-wise. And we'll drop in a Baron here.
Destiny is a pretty lie for naive souls.
And wrap it up with a Maul. Yeah, I'll put it right there. Although maybe not ideal, because he's probably better off here. I mean, it won't target the physical resist mobs. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could drop in Eona over here, and any number of other things, but it's kind of irrelevant.
torment awaits.
Mostly just stomping on anything anyways. But this would work if they were actually, you know, stacking up and sitting there. There is the option to do it. If for Gear Awakening reasons you can't kill them quick enough. That being said, again, right, we're running epics. If you replace any of these units with legendary counterparts that are better suited to actually do something and have better baseline stats, then you will walk all over this. That's 8 down. And we're once more running the same thing. We're gonna have, I believe it's physical immune coming from the right. No, magic immune coming from the right, physical immune coming from the left. So, pretty much as per usual, we're gonna drop our Estrid. We're gonna drop our Greed.
Apocalypse comes. Torment awaits.
We are going to drop in a tank here.
My redemption. Torment.
And from this point on, it's kind of free. Potentially, you know, again, depending on your damage, your gear, or whatever, you need to drop in a tank there instead of a ranged physical magic, ranged physical damage dealer. But it's probably not even necessary, to be honest. Drop in a healer for the sake of it, for appearances, and then we're basically done. Here, you can toss in an Eona there if you really want to.
Torment awaits.
And then we kind of just wait.
Torment awaits. Tear them apart.
Also, yeah, one other thing is that we're not even using the ultimates because they don't really serve a purpose. If you were actually using ultimates, this would become easier. Although I guess, given the requirements to unlock the Tower of Deception, I'm not sure there's many teams and rosters that will struggle with these first 10-ish stages. At least first 9-ish stages. It will start becoming a bit more true later on. Alt. Done. Alright. Let's do the boss first. And this is slightly a mess. Truly. Alright, so we're gonna be running Estrid, yes. Maul, no.
I haven't had my fun yet.
Where are my healers here? I'm gonna take Vortex, and I don't need you. Hollow.
My enemy is destiny itself.
And finally, we don't need Wrath. Instead, we are looking for our dear friend, Liam. And that's really normally all we need. What's Estrid currently running as an artifact? Let's at least give her a level Y of Sin. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, there's probably a few options here you could use instead. The base concept is here we're going to have magical immune units coming in to deal with. Here, physical immune units coming in. If they get to the boss, you basically lose. Now, the obvious easy solution is to just use good units like Praetus and just annihilate the boss. Or Silas. That being said, if you cannot do that, if you don't have those units, this is probably a semi-reliable strategy. You will still need strong fighter on the left side and a semi-decent mage on the right. And we're just going to operate like this. Drop in our Estrid. We're going to let her take a few hits here. It's all part of the plan. Drop in our Vortex to heal Estrid. Then we're going to keep on waiting a bit more here before finally dropping in Greed shortly. The problem is if we drop him in too early, he's going to die before getting the cost, before we get the cost necessary for Hollow. I could have actually dropped it in a little bit earlier. Here we want to do it roughly positioned like so. And I spent a very long time trying to do this in different ways before finally realizing that he actually conveniently stops for us right there. Wait, what?
Destiny is a pretty lie for naive souls.
Does that not work anymore? Is it because I took too long to place my first unit? Wait a second. That changes a lot of things. Oh, man. I hope it's just a question of the boss's abilities being synced to when you have units on the field. Otherwise, this is going to be not great. I was testing this, the boss basically stopped to cast a Shield of Desecration right about here. Which made it significantly easier. Alright.
Torment awaits.
Although, you know... Nope, I have to place a healer. Otherwise that greed is dead. What the hell?
This doll is outfitted
Oh, what? Did they patch this? There's no way. Give me a second to go check my auto on the out, but what the f... Huh. Interesting. Let's try this again. I think I need to...
Vengeful will drives me.
I think the problem is that I'm placing your read too early.
Apocalypse comes. Torment awaits. Oh.
The dawn is ready.
Just barely surviving there. What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna try this slightly adjusted.
Vengeful will drives me.
So, apparently I found a buggy version of clearing this on the out without knowing it, and now it's not working for me here. Awesome.
Apocalypse comes.
Now, because this is going to make a place too late.
On the other side.
Now Greed is dead. Okay, this is what happened. And then I had time to place Olague.
Redemption.
Well, Greed will be back eventually anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Probably just going to stick to this, drop in our Liam.
My enemy is destiny itself.
It's basically, by using 2 units to cover the left and 2 units to cover the right, you don't really have a choice. It's essentially only Liam that can actually do anything to clear things out. Let's actually drop him. Nope, drop him here.
Apocalypse comes.
I love
Torn in my elements.
And Liam, with his neurotoxin, will deal damage through both of the phases. He himself is not doing much damage, but the neurotoxin is, and that's what matters. And it is a bit tight, but it works out. I guess I probably actually could somewhat optimize this by bringing Greed down 1, moving Liam over to the left side, facing him to the right, and then just... that ensures better coverage.
my enemy.
Oops, can't sleep on hollow ultimates because Liam needs that.
In my elements.
Shouldn't have used the Estrid ultimate earlier.
Kiss my axe.
Probably shouldn't have used it now, to be fair, but oh well. Liam will have some extra work to do.
Torment awaits.
Destiny is a pretty lie for naive souls.
Okay, the one that leaked is almost down. Now Greed will be able to focus better on this pack coming in.
This doll is out.
I'm gonna ult with Hollow again. Estrid will normally be able to build up her rage enough to just trash through all of this. And Liam almost took the boss down at this point. Yeah, Estrid's ready to go. So yeah, the greed timing, the greed, whatever AoE mage you decide to use on this right side, the timing of that placement is somewhat important. I hadn't realized that it was actually that important, but turns out that yeah, it most certainly is. This will work. Liam is running some pretty good regen gear though. And, you know, Estrid may die, but normally, again, this doesn't actually prevent the run from working. If you build her, she can probably afford to forego some damage and run a Lunacy Visor or Forsaken Key. Potentially, you could also just run a better fighter. Or even run a better healer, because Vortex is kind of a bad healer, to be fair. And we're essentially left with, wait, no, what am I doing? We want all three. We're essentially left with just the hidden phase here to do. And how did I set this up? We had our Wrath. Rarity. We need our Estrid. We need our Wrath. We do not need Titus. We do need our Hollow. I believe I was running Eona.
Be it order
And obviously Greed. Yeah, that should do the trick. Basically the default epic team that I run for everything. Yes, they keep us alive. If you let either of these two healers die, you basically lose the run. So you need to prioritize placing a healer pretty much immediately. After that, you can afford to drop in your Estrid. You do want to be using Hollow's ultimate here, so she's able to heal both Estrid and the healer at the same time. If you do not do that, it might be a bit tight to actually kill the dagger. What gear is our Estrid running? Because that looks like some atrocious damage. Dear God.
I like you. You're bold. Fancy my dazzling axe?
And we're going to pop Estrid ult. We're also going to drop in our Wrath up there to intercept any mobs spawning here. Fast forward because all of this part is irrelevant. We're going to hold the Hollow ultimate because that's going to come in handy very soon. And as soon as we have Greed up and ready, we're going to drop, well, the cost for Greed up and ready, we're going to drop them in. And he'll handle these incoming tanks. Here, we're going to drop in Vortex just to keep that healer alive until Greed can kill the archers, recall Vortex, and drop in Eona to handle these guys. Oh god. What's that artifact I saw?
My enemy is destiny itself.
Does she have terrible gear?
No one
Probably.
gets to choose his time.
Alright, well, we're gonna ultimate with her and hope that she does kill them. Oh boy. It's not looking good, is it? I think I forgot to actually properly gear her. It's fine. I think. I hope. Shh. Yeah, just barely. Alright, dropping a tank.
My redemption.
So otherwise these daggers will absolutely decimate Estrid.
I like you.
And we will actually ult for this.
This doll is outfitted.
Probably
for
also
combat.
ult there. We're going to recall that tank, as it's no longer really necessary, and drop in a Maul on the right side here. And they're really, honestly, not cool about this, because you don't know that these guys are going to spawn there until you're actually in the midst of it. And by the time you do realize, it's generally too late to actually do anything about it. That was a bit close. You probably want to place your Maul a little bit earlier. So here we're going to recall our Maul, who no longer serves a purpose. Drop in a healer to keep that healer alive until the archers are dealt with.
My enemy
In my element. In my element. In my element. In my element.
And here it's important to recall that quickly before the daggers hit Estrid, because if they do hit Estrid, she will die.
makes a fool of time.
Now daggers will die. Then we just have the tanks to deal with. And at that point, Eona can mostly handle them on her own. I mean, we're not constrained by time at this point, so we can do this fairly comfortably. Did I not put a Bastion ring on Olague? Oh my god. I think we're going to walk through the gear and I'm going to hate myself for my choices. Or my lack of actual choices. But, yeah. Alright, quick overview here. We got...
Will drives me.
Actually, I just need to show Liam on top, so I'm going to go in here. Alright, Rork is running Soulbound Arcana, Wicked Vengeance. You probably usually want to run with more HP, but it doesn't really matter. I just toss whatever sets I had, and a Key of the Forsaken. Maul is running some pretty bad Curse gear. Calamity on left side and a Sharpshooter's Crest. Vortex is running a pile of garbage and a Tumultuous Horn. Olague is running some Guardian tank gear and a North's Will. We're going to change that right now because I will need a better artifact for later stages. Estrid is running Warlords, Soulbound Arcana, and an Eye of Sin. Wrath is running Bad Wisdom, Calamity, and his exclusive. Baron is running Guardian and a Bastion Ring. Greed is running Soulbound Arcana, Wicked Vengeance, and a Tear of Twilight. Hollow is running Invigoration and Light's Grace with a unleveled Golden Scarab. And Eona is running some really bad gear that I really definitely need to change before we go further on the Tower of Deception, but yeah, and an unleveled title ring. Gear's pretty bad, currently. I will definitely have to upgrade this as I go towards 15. But yeah, that's Tower of Deception up to stage 10 here with pretty much only epics. So cheers. You have a nice one.